There's nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at a typewriter and bleed. Welcome to The Bleeders, a podcast and support group about book writing and publishing. I'm writer and podcaster Courtney Kosak, and each episode I'll bring you new conversations with authors, agents, and publishers about how to write and sell books. Today's guest is Laura Cathcart Robbins, author of the fantastic memoir Stash, My Life in Hiding, and host of the popular podcast The Only One in the Room. In this episode, Laura shares her journey from rejection to securing an agent and writing her memoir in 6 months. Her story is an inspiring reminder that sometimes rejection can be the biggest gift. But before we get into it with Laura, I want to tell you about the writing intensive of your dreams. It's called New Year's Newsletter and Pitch Party Extravaganza. It's every day in January, and it is guaranteed to revolutionize your writing practice. You will write over 22,000 words, and the proof is in the pudding, baby. I've already taught 3 cohorts, and my students have just been bowling me over. 2 of them have recently gotten bylines in the New York Times. Other students have gotten into Slate, BuzzFeed, Huffington Post. I'm getting emails with new wins every day. So if you are interested in joining in on the fun, up-leveling your own writing practice, and hey, maybe even landing a few dream bylines, head on over to my website. It is CourtneyKosak.com/teaching. Again, Courtney Kosak, last name KOCAK.com/teaching. And you can use code BLEEDERS for $100 off. All right, let's dive in with Laura.
Hi, my name is Laura Cathcart Robbins. I am the author of the brand new memoir, Stash, My Life in Hiding. I'm also the host of the very popular podcast, The Only One in the Room.
Did you sell it first, or did you write the whole thing first?
Yeah, I think that all of this, once I knew that with that final rejection from the agent, she gave me a laundry list of stuff that I might want to look at doing before I went back to an agent. And one of them, she said to me, memoir is the hardest thing to sell because, it doesn't matter how beautifully written it might be. If no one knows who you are, it's just really hard to sell. She also told me that memoir is hard to sell incomplete, that I should come back with a complete manuscript and not just a proposal. These were her suggestions. She talked about building an author's platform, and she gave me steps for it. It was an amazing rejection.
That is.
So I took it as a call to action, and I started down that list, and I started a blog. I started storytelling. I won a Moth. I started writing and publishing articles. Like, I was doing everything that she said to do. Stash came out of 30 pages in a query I wrote for HarperCollins during the summer of 2020. It was their response to the cultural reckoning that was happening in the world. And they decided to take 30 pages in a query from unagented Black authors for that summer only. I didn't have either. I decided to write them. I submitted them. I got a rejection because it was for fiction only, which I didn't read. I just got excited and read as like what I needed to read, I thought. Anyway, so it was rejected. Going back to Holly Whitaker, I sent her those pages a few months later. She kind of freaked out over them and sent them right to her agent. That was like on a Friday, I sent them to Holly. On Saturday, she freaked out. And on Tuesday, I had a signed contract from her agent.
What?
It went fast, and it was based on those 30 pages and that query. The agent then asked me, how quickly can you write this? And that's when I got into that 11-7 pattern, and I wrote it in 6 months.
That is an incredible story. So that HarperCollins thing, you needed that.
Yes.
Anyway, even though it wasn't like that thing, it led you to the thing. That's amazing.
Yes.
All right, Bleeders, that was just a little preview. The whole interview is so good, and it is over on YouTube. The channel is youtube.com/@BleedersPodcast. There is a link in the episode description that will take you right to this specific video. And make sure you're signed up for the Bleeders Companion Substack for all kinds of newsletter exclusives. There's also a link for that in the episode description. I actually recently launched a paid subscription where I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes of all of my best bylines. And I just published a post about my return to stand-up comedy and how I got ready for my first show. I freaking crushed it. So super fun stuff happening over there, and super fun stuff happening over here. I've got another great episode for you next week. So Join me again next time for another instructive episode. In the meantime, happy bleeding.